What's up, everyone? How you doing? It is Mike Watson, and we are here for another one of these episodes I like to call Chat and Draw. Hope everyone's having a good day. I'm having a good day because it's Friday. Special episode here as we're trying to keep the promotion train running. Yeah, because I got a Kickstarter going today. And it's going till February 8th, and we're on a nice little pace. We're good, but we could be better. All right, there's tons of stuff. I'll get into some more announcements probably later on when I talk on the Agents of the Nerdy, because we are streaming that tonight as well. It's gonna be, what up, Ryan, man? How you doing, man? It's gonna be a good day. It's gonna be a crazy Friday night, man. We're about to get all up into it. I came home immediately from work, hugged my wife, saw my kids, and then started cooking dinner. And we had Japanese steakhouse. You know, I cooked the steak, but we ordered the fried rice because I was lazy. And I did not pre-cook it yesterday like you're supposed to, and then let it chill and then cook it today. I didn't have time for any of that. If you've been watching my social media, you know I didn't have time for that. I'm always doing something. But cooked it. Oh, yeah, it was good. All right. Going to finish WandaVision today. All types of good stuff. Tons of stuff going on here with the pad. Got to get that situated. Just a lot going on. Kickstarters, making comic books, streaming, working, commissions. Maybe I shouldn't do all that stuff at once unless I can split myself into at least two other people. But hey, I asked for it. I asked for this crazy life, and I'm here. I'm living and breathing it, man. All right, so all that, Chat and Draw is a show where I sit down across from the virtual art table of another colleague, and I draw their character while we talk about said character. And it has been a blast because this is our 100th, and well, the stream says 108th because I had put other episodes in, and then this one came in a couple days later, but I had already made my schedule. I didn't want to renumber stuff, so this is the 108th episode technically, but we're like 2 episodes away from that because I got, this week. No worry, it'll even out. It will completely even out. All right, I'm done. But look, I sit across from virtual art table. I draw their character. We chat. We geek out. We talk about the craft. We talk about whatever's good in geekdom, and then we keep it moving. We have a great time on the show, and I'm super excited. What up, J Man? How you doing? Katie's in the building, everybody. And I enjoy it. Over 100 episodes. You're damn right I enjoy it, and I'm hoping that we do hundreds more as we have our Kickstarter going. So be sure to check that out at some point today. I'm gonna hit you guys with the link right there because it could use some love. And if you've already pledged, if you already submitted, that's great. Give me some shares. Advocate for your boy. All right, now that we got all the business out the way, it's time to have a good time. Let's bring up our guest, and you know how we do that in classic Chat and Draw fashion.
Here comes a new challenger!
Oh, you didn't see it. It's a handicap match. It's 201.
What's up, man?
Guys.
How's it going?
Oh, dude, I'm on one. How are you guys doing?
Doing all right, man. I actually just finished like a couple pages earlier, so it's good to take a break away from the table for a second.
Okay, all right. So, what I'm going to do is give you each a little moment to go ahead and tell everybody who you are, what you do, and whatnot, and why you're here today. Zach, you're up first.
What's up, guys? My name is Zackary Marois. I'm a recent Cubit School graduate. During my time in school, I recently self-published a graphic novel with 23 other Cubit School students. And then on my way out, I was working on some commissions for people, and now I decided to go ahead and do a Kickstarter, which is live right now. And yeah, it's just basically freelance artist, and that's pretty much it.
Hey everyone, I'm Brett Melograno. Like Zach, I'm a recent Joe Kubert School graduate, and I'm the writer for this said Kickstarter project called Voyage the Call. Zach and I have been collaborating on this for pretty much since the spring semester we were working on this, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're just working on getting this to you, and hopefully if this goes well, we'll be able to bring you some more stories with the intergalactic space traveler that you guys will get to meet on this episode, and his name is Sonderon.
Man, that has a nice ring to it. Man, I'd never get tired of that name.
So hold up. Let me shout out for going to the Cubert School of Cartooning. We're not going to fast forward past this like y'all just did not say you're both recent graduates of the school. Big ups, man. Congratulations.
Thank you, man. Thank you, man. It's definitely tough, man. It's like boot camp, for artists.
Dude, that's dope, though. How many years did you guys attend?
We went in for 3.
Yeah, program 3 years. Yeah.
All right, so I just put Zach's social media information in the chat, and I also got their Kickstarter link in that chat. Let's go over and let's take a hot peekaboo at the Kickstarter. Let me get that up. Share the screen, because sharing is caring. All right, so we have this comic called Voyage, The Call, a minor horror sci-fi comic following the adventures of Sonderon, an intergalactic space explorer. So this is a chat and draw first. Over 100 drawings. And this is, I believe, the first time I've drawn an alien on the show. Right. I'm really trying to think. 100 drawings starts to go by real fast, man.
They just kind of blend into one kind of thing.
Yeah, man, because sometimes I do the show twice a week, and then, like now, I've done the show 5 times this week.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
But... All right, so give us the elevator pitch for this book. Why should we care? Why should we pledge? With 9 days left, you got to go to $5,000. You're at $2,885. Why should we pledge to this Kickstarter, man?
Brett, this is all on you, man. You are the captain when it comes to like sales pitch, bro.
All right, well, let's see. Okay, so everyone's used to the big 2 superhero, the generic, good guy versus evil and stuff, but how many times have you picked up a book where the main character is an alien? Probably 0 to none. Maybe a Green Lantern story here and there, but they're always kind of second bananas to Hal or John or whoever is the Green Lantern at the time. So what we got here is a sci-fi story we're following the adventures of this cosmic explorer named Sonderon, who basically is a little bit of an outcast from his tribe. There's a whole backstory that we have worked out with this character, which has to do with his planet, in the past being shattered, being broken off into 4 different quadrants. And basically, he sort of stumbles into this whole, basically a whole quest to unite his people. But that's a little something further down the line. But this story in particular, I want you to take the best elements of H.P. Lovecraft, mix in a little Star Trek and Alien, and you're going to have a pretty good sci-fi horror film, or horror comic, excuse me. Coupled with some great art and, a couple surprises here and there.
Awesome. If I'm coming on here fresh, I'm completely green, all right? You pulled me in with your thumbnail image. You've got me with your blurb. I've read into it. I want to buy it, but I got about a low to medium budget. What's the perfect pledge for a new guy giving you guys a chance?
So it really goes back and forth with a digital PDF, because if you pledge $5 on the digital PDF, your name gets put into the support section of the book. Because granted, this is my first Kickstarter, I want to go ahead and tell everybody that's pledging to it that they are important for pledging this project. And I want to go ahead and let them know by showing their name in the book. And the next, or you can go ahead, if you're like me, who prefers the actual like copy in your hands instead of like just reading it digitally and having it on your like email and whatnot, pledge $10 for the book. I try to go ahead and make these tiers as cheap as possible, because it's not about paying myself and the money that it comes with the funds. It's about putting that money like into the products to make it the best quality possible to give it back to you guys.
Okay. All right. All right. So, from both you guys, what was the decision? What was the choice for you guys to go to the Kubert School of Cartooning?
Man. So I was naive before I went to the school. You know, I was extremely naive. I thought that I could go ahead and try to enter the freelance field as an artist by myself, by just teaching myself the techniques and how to draw comics and whatnot. And I was already drawing like 6 to 7 books a year. It was very amateurish, and not learning perspective, shading, and all that type. And I had all my characters and stuff like that, and I was working on them. And then somebody approached me at Boston Comic Con. I think it was like 2016. Yeah, it was 2016, and they were like, "Oh, hey, like there's a summer program," and my daughter went there, and she learned a lot. And she showed me examples of what she did there, and I was like, "Oh, wow, maybe this is something I want to go ahead and go to over the summer," because I couldn't afford school, and it's very expensive. So when I went down there for a tour, I remember my mother. She she was the one that took me. She After the tour was done, she looked at me in the backseat of the car, and she's like, "You ain't going there for a summer. We're gonna do the best we can to go ahead and get you for 3 years, and I don't care how it happens." So I went there for the 3 years, and I'll tell you right now, man. Oh my God, man! Everything I thought I knew before entering there was highly wrong, because the minute I got in and the things they tell us, it blows your mind at certain points. Some of the things that you think is hard about trying to become a freelancer, like the answers are kind of like right there in your face, but you just don't realize it yet until the curtains unveiled.
All right. That's dope. Gotta love the parents for the support right there. Like, was your mom ever against it or anything? Because that story almost feels like it was a complete turnaround and it was completely unexpected.
My mom wanted me to be a doctor many years ago, and then once I was out of the house when I was 18, and I was doing my own thing, I just started to really crack down at what I wanted to do. And from that point on, as I was drawing all those like amateur comics before I went to the school, that was like, with that compiled with what I saw at the school and she saw, and it was just more than enough information for her to like be like, "You're going."
Mm. So how did that feel? Like, she wanted you to be this specific thing prior to that. Hey, Roland just backed you. That's what's up, man.
Oh,
Hey,
Roland.
all
Hey.
right. Thank you, Roland.
What do you say y'all's at? Let's see here. You're at 96 backers and you're at 2,900 now. Thank you very much, Roland. Paul, how
Yeah.
you doing, man?
We
Actually,
appreciate
Roland, man, he's actually got his own Kickstarter. He is Silverline Comics. He has a bunch of Kubert School students with him as well that's working on like artwork and whatnot for his books.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, man.
I'm loving this, man.
Yeah, great guy, man. Great guy.
All right, so did you feel victorious? Did you feel like you accomplished something? Like you were winning when obviously it seemed like your mom converted once she saw the seriousness of what you were doing?
No, I didn't really start feeling like that until I published my first graphic novel with everyone there. That's really when the work that I was learning, because I feel like anybody can go into school. It's what you do in that school is what's really important. So I wanted to go ahead and really leave a mark in a sense right before I left. I didn't want to go there like an average student there and then just leave the same way. I wanted to kind of like I wanted to leave my mark right before I left out and have that mark be a legacy to keep going forward, because what my goals and my ambitions is to try to bring people in the future that are involved with the school to bring them in to whatever I'm working with or on for projects and comics and such, because I have like these big dreams. Like I imagine like Dwarstar, like Voyage, Sonderon to be like an action figure line, and it'd be great for a Netflix show or stuff like that. So those are things that hopefully one day, if it becomes a thing, fingers crossed, like I want to take specifically people who are involved in the Cubert School, because entering the freelance field is a tough thing to do and everybody needs a hand. So
That's awesome. What about you, sir?
As far as how I ended up there, it was one of those life takes a different path kind of thing. I mean, I knew about the school. I learned about the school the first time in 2003 because I'm a big Jan Duursma fan, and I loved her run on Star Wars when it was with Dark Horse when she was doing Republic. And I was always blown away by her art, and I started looking her up and stuff, and I read that she went to this school and everything. So I was looking into it and stuff, and just life got in the way. I got caught up with jobs and stuff like that, and we had some family things, health things. So I really kind of put things on the back burner as far as pursuing this, and just the stars aligned at a certain time, and I was just able to go over these past 3 years. So that's pretty much how I ended up there,
That's what's up, man. And I dig it. I always dig the perseverance to keep pushing, to keep going. I think a lot of artists hit a wall, and it's always good to hear about the artists that push through that. We go to these comic book conventions and we're sitting at our tables, and I guarantee you there's at least two people that'll come up to your table and like, man, I used to draw back in the day,
Right.
and then I got caught up in this and this, and I just stopped. So another reason why I like doing the show is like I like hearing these stories of the artists that, the road isn't perfect.
Right.
It's not a straight shot for everybody.
Yeah, for sure.
So that makes me feel good to hear that more people are pushing and persevering through. Now, how did you guys link up at the school? Did you guys know each other prior, or you met there?
we met at the school.
Yeah, we met at the school. We the first time we met was the first years. We all pretty much live in this. I guess it's the dormitory, but it's called the mansion. It's there on. I guess it's not really on campus because the campus is an old, like 100-year-old school. Like it was. I think it was like a grade school or middle school or something.
So you're telling me you went to the Xavier Institute?
Yeah, pretty much.
Disguise.
Although if you do walk around the halls, there's a lot more DC than there is Marvel there. So
Really?
if you go on a tour, they'll definitely take you to the second floor and just, like the showpiece is this big mural that DC, when they moved the headquarters, kind of second hand me down to the school. So they always show that as the pride and joy of the second floor. So there's a lot more DC than Marvel there. But we ended up, like I said, all the students first year end up living on this, it's called the mansion, which it is like another 100-year-old building. And we just met there, and we were in the same section first year. We were in 1C together because they break up all the students by, A, B, C, just according to how many people are in that year. So Zach and I were in 1C, and that's pretty much where we met.
Awesome. All right, and so let's talk about this character. Who is he? How did he come to fruition? How did this story get started? Was this created when you guys two met, or did somebody already have the recipe for it and you guys developed it in the kitchen together?
So Sonderon, before Sonderon, I had his race of aliens I created in 7th grade. That's the year that the idea came around, and I was working on these titles, but I was working on it with my brother, and I was just working on his books and his characters, and I always was like, well, why can't I work on mine? He would just be like, because I don't want you, because you got to work on this. Until you have a solid idea, then you can't. And that was like, that always kind of pushed me back. And then when I went to the Joe Kubert School, I really was like, you know what, I had that's when the month before I went to the Joe Kubert School, I had like a dream of like this, and I know it sounds like weird, like weird and whatnot, but I had like a dream of like a defender for, that solar system, and I was like, wait, I woke up and I'm like, that's it, I got it. So I wrote it down, and the character was called Khonshu at the time, and when I went to school, I started really writing that. Like I just kept what I had written before. It was nothing compared to how much I was writing during first year. That's all it was. Um, just adding in more and more. And Sonderon didn't look like he does now. He just had a bunch of garbage on him. Like it was just unnecessary information. But I just kept going at it during first year. And then during the summer of my second year, I started thinking about changing the name, and I did. And during the start of second year, we had an assignment, and I decided to throw him in there to see how his new look would work. Because in school, one thing they tell you is that simple is better. Because when you go ahead and you take a character that everybody knows of and you black them out, just like one color black in a silhouette, people are going to know just by the shape of that alone, like who that character is. So certain things like that stuck with me, and I started ripping off the outfit like piece by piece, and I broke it down to the bare bones essentials of what he needs that he's going to be using, and that's when I came up with the look. And then when I made the book, I made it with like 23 other people, and Brett unfortunately wasn't one of them. But when third year came around, I was still, the story still needed tweaking, and Brett is phenomenal when it comes to like storytelling and writing and whatnot. Like the ideas that just come out of his mind with like on the spot, or if he just has an hour to think about it, it's like ridiculous. So I asked him, hey, can you help me out with this? And he's like, all right, give me 1 second. He goes in his room for 1 hour. He starts writing it. He comes back out, and the whole thing is just amazing. It blew my mind. And I was like, nah, there's no way I'm letting you go and just do it in that. So I was like, we decided to stick together outside of the school. And anything that involves Voyage, Brett's always going to be there. And when the legal issues come in, when it comes to like who created the character and stuff like that, me and Brett are going to be the co-creators, because the character's look and the idea is one thing, but putting it into fruition with all the things that have been added and corrected, that's another thing. Because if other people are working in on that and they provided as much information as you did, then they deserve credit, and that's what I'm all about.
Okay. All right. All right. So, how much of that did he lie about, Brett?
No, I mean, he's very complimentary and stuff. So, I always appreciate. That's one thing that is very, heart is always something I describe to people whenever I talk about Zach. Is that he's always got that heart, and he's always got a very good. He's just got a good soul all around. You know what I'm saying? So. When you talk about someone who, their word is their bond, that's Zach. So, that's why we love him, man. That's why we love him.
Thank you.
It's about to get emotional on the show.
Well, no, it's if you ever met me in person, man, I'm a little far out there. Goofy is like a lighter word to use. But I think when it comes to like working on the things that I focus my mind on, I think my work ethic really speaks a lot to people, and people pick up on that. Mm-hmm. And like Brett says, like if I'm passionate about, I hate failing. That's like it's barely at the bottom line. I hate failing, and I will do everything that I can to avoid it, even if if it's the first time or whatnot. I'll do everything I can. So. And I don't want to be the only one to be successful. I want to make sure that wherever I'm going, I want to bring people with me, because I tried to do it myself, and it's really, really struggling. So why make it harder for myself when I can just bring people along for the ride that feel just the same as I do?
Right. All right. Well, I'm definitely liking what we're saying here. If anybody's got questions, please go ahead and shoot those questions out there. I'll catch them in the comments or whatnot. Let me see here. Yeah. So please do. J-Man's in the building. Da-da-da-da-da. Be sure to go over and check out that Kickstarter. We got a pledge already so far, which is very much so appreciated. And we are talking about Voyage, the Call. So talk to me about the name of this title. How do we get that? What? How much does it represent the book?
Before I went to school, like I said, when I created, he was called Khonshu, it was Khonshu's Voyage, and then I just got rid of the name, and I was just like, no, I just call it Voyage. And in definition of the word voyage is adventure on land or sea, and I don't know, it has that sci-fi like feel to that when I hear that like name Voyage. Like even what is it like? You have Star Trek Voyager, and like the name fits with that. So certain things like that just like speak a lot to me, and that's why I wanted to keep the word. It's so simple, and it explains the whole thing without even like showing like much detail on the character and whatnot. It's just on the title alone, you can get a sense of what the book's going to be.
What's the supporting cast for this story looking like?
Supporting cast. So we got Brett as. Oh, go ahead, Brett.
No, I was gonna say, well, you know, as every great hero has a faithful companion or sidekick, Sonderon's faithful companion is a chimera named Stable, and she'll be accompanying him on the voyage. But as far as other characters, it's pretty much just a solo adventure for him, you know, minus the Sable. But you know, he's meeting, you know, different, you know, there's like a bog witch, and, you know, there's going to be these, you know, creatures and clerics and stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Just, this is a solo one for Sonderon.
All right.
You know, what's funny is with the idea for this book is I originally wanted to do it for Inktober last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I knew what I wanted, and I was like, Brett, this is going to have a Lovecraft tale, and I wrote a paragraph of what the book was going to be, or an idea of what I wanted for it, and I threw it Brett's way. He took him a day, or a day or two, and he just sends the script back to me, and it was just beautiful. And I was like, this has to be something more. So I did a few pages in Inktober, but with work, my daytime job took a lot of time out of me and whatnot, and certain commissions that I just didn't have time to finish it. So I was like, you know what? I have 6 pages already. The story's solid. I don't want this to go to waste, so I'm going to throw it on Kickstarter.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are.
All right. Awesome, man. So where does this take place?
Well,
what's the setting?
Basically the far reaches of space, basically.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you're saying that, you know, Sonderon's a cosmic explorer. He's been on, you know, hopefully down the line we'll be able to explore, you know, because there's a whole more origin and backstory to Sonderon. So you're picking up where he's kind of already, you know, left his home world, and he's on just one of his many voyages. So, you know, right now, like I said, this story is sort of like, you know, just kind of a side tale for the main thing. But yeah, right now he's just kind of traveling through space and just exploring, basically. You know, like I said, he's one of these characters that, you know, on his home quadrant, you know, he basically, his race of Cometans, they were like the hunter-gatherers, basically. They weren't technologically savvy or anything like that. But it was one of those things that, you know, sort of, you know, he always would kind of look to the stars at night and just kind of wonder what was out there when, you know, the rest of his tribe told him, you know, there's nothing out there, you know, just stick to what you know. Mm-hmm. So, you know, Sonderon's always been kind of really curious as to what is out there. And in this story, it's almost like he's getting more than he bargained for, basically, because he's come across this supernatural element that, you know, he is, you know, essentially being called by something, and he's at a point where it's driving him mad. So he needs to go and find out what is it that is calling to him, and that's where we pick up the book, basically.
All right. So is this going to be a mini series, max series, ongoing series? What's the thought process here?
The thought process for this one is it's just a one-shot book, and it's really just because I learned a lot being on Kickstarter. This is my first Kickstarter project, so I wanted to treat this as a one-shot. But Sandra, I'm actually working on an anthology book number 2 on their own with other Cooper School students. I brought them all back again for another one, and that's that I'm working on the side as well. So, and he's also on Webtoons. So you're going to see Sonron in different places. And there will be more books. Like, trust me when I say, like, there's going to be more comics of him in it. It's just for this one right now in Kickstarter, it's just going to be the one comic. Right?
Okay. Sorry, I've kind of entered my mode here.
Yeah, of course.
Just trying to think of the layout for this bad boy. So, what can you tell us about this character, personality wise and stuff?
Well, he's very.
You laughed. Is this about to be a good thing or a bad thing?
I always like to have, like, for me, I kind of like to add more flaws in the character than good. He's got a lot of good to him, but his flaws are he's very stubborn, extremely stubborn. It's like only his way when it comes to like certain things that he's got to do, and he doesn't like to bring people in. It's only until like people force their way in, he's kind of got no choice. What else? Like Brett said, he's not tech savvy at all. He's like a scavenger, so a lot of the stuff he picks up on is basically based upon experience.
Mm-hmm.
So in his star system, before he was exiled, it was just like a hero's journey. That's a whole nother adventure in itself, but that was just a whole thing when it came to him just trying to like survive. He was just trying to survive in each quadrant that he was landing on before he was exiled. And once he got exiled, that was basically his second to breathe. And now he's amongst society and all these different planets and the galaxy. He just does not know much of anything. He's just a baby in the universe. Yeah. And it's prone for him to get taken advantage of really quickly. There's a lot of villains that I created that do just that. And Sonderon doesn't realize that. He does more. He thinks he's doing the right thing when helping certain people out, but it's basically a stack of dominoes falling down. It's just it's one thing after another. Like when he does that deed, it's actually helping this other villain out to get closer to what their goal is. And when that thing explodes, he's like, "Oh crap, man! Like I just messed up, and I thought I was doing the right thing, and now I got to go ahead and fix that."
Yeah, I was going to say that I definitely see him as very not naive, but like an innocence to him. There's a childlike innocence to him, like in the sense that he left what he was just accustomed to for all of those years, and now he's being thrust into this world where there's one story that we have where he goes to a marketplace. And even just, going down into that marketplace, he's nervous, and, he should, like he says, he has this inner monologue where he says, it's not a big deal. There's a marketplace at home. It's no big deal. But, seeing all the different races of alien and all the technology and stuff like that, these things, quite frankly, they frighten him. So I do think that there's, I do like that quality about him, that I see that he definitely has a very much a childlike innocence to him, that I don't think there's any I don't see any evil bone in his body. I think that he's always just he sees the best in people. And like how Zach said, I think that for that, these bad guys end up rolling him, and he gets into a whole nother, he's got to fix the situation, because I don't think that he's really been accustomed to that. So I like the innocence to the character as well.
Okay. That's good. I like that too. Katie says she likes the character's name. Cameron saying that's real tribal nature. Brad Arney backed you, so you're at
Thank you, Brad.
2,920
Awesome,
now.
man. Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Cameron said, so just like Kung Fu.
Yeah.
And Katie says he sounds very relatable. So even though this guy is a alien, would you say he's the every person?
We hope it's like, like every person, like we would like to believe that everybody has good intentions, but that's not always true. So dude, like it was really hard to figure out the personality of Sonderon as I was writing, because I'm not much of a writer. I have all these ideas and I'll write them down, but for me, generally, I have a hard time explaining things, and that also shows in my writing. But when I pass it on to Brett to see what he can do, it just the words would flow beautifully on page, and when he just explains certain things as he written it, it was just amazing to hear how, like you said, how relatable he is, and I see a little bit of myself in the character. It's just how real that feeling is. And the cool thing about like Sonderon, to me, the reason why I'm very attached to the story and the character is the core belief that I do believe that this is going to go somewhere. And the reason why is when you go and you watch your sci-fi movies and the things that you love that has to do with like anything sci-fi in general, you're always following the character who's always a human. Even in Star Wars, granted, like they have a vast like amount of aliens all over the place, you're still following that main character who is essentially human, And I always wondered what would a comic book look like if the main character was an alien and you're following those things that all the superheroes and all those other books that you're reading, if the character was just a different race from somewhere out beyond the stars. And I think that really grabbed me, because when you're watching Predator or Alien, it would be cool to see Predator, the whole movie just be told through the Predator's perspective.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Just do that. Just make a Predator movie about predators. I don't always need to have humans in it, man.
Yeah, and I think everybody would be down to say hell yeah to see that movie, because the Predators have their culture and their story, their canon stuff that they have laid down already. Like, it's amazing how much beef they have with the aliens and what goes on back and forth between them, and like why the hunt is the way it is. The whole culture with the Predators, and that's so much more cooler to me than seeing New York New York cop trying to hunt down an alien. Like that. I'm sorry, like I know those movies are good. I'm not bashing on them, but I would rather see Predators just like beefing it out and just watching them, and that's it.
Like, I agree with you, man. I liked how they did Predators. Like, I think that was a good movie. It had the right amount of human interaction I was fine with, because they were still hunting all these people. But I think a movie like that should have opened up the world to Predators. Like the movie ended really dope, right? You get that? No, not that one. Where they stay on that home world, and there's that rivalry. There's that inner war between these different Predator clans, and that could have opened up to a whole nother movie where it's focused on that now, because we've been introduced to it.
Well, even with the Transformer movies, I don't know why Hollywood always has this, they always feel that we need to see their war and their life through a human's eye. I mean, I think everybody, everyone I always talk to, I mean, growing up with G1 and everything, that, that first 15 minutes of that Bumblebee movie, like, that's what we want to see. Just all CG, I mean, that's the thing about all the Transformers, is that, they have the emotion and feelings of a human being, but they're just sentient beings. They're robots. So like, again, I think Hollywood always feels, and not just Hollywood, but whatever comic book publisher, whoever, they always feel that we need to see a story through a human's eyes so we can relate to that. But I think Zach and I were talking about this one day, is that I think the thing with Sonderon is what we're trying to show is that, just because he's an alien, different species, if we can convey those human characteristics that we all have, empathy, love, compassion, the spirit of adventure, fear. If we can put those things into this purple alien, then it shouldn't matter for a person, that I need to have a human counterpart so I can relate to him. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's one of the things that we're trying to accomplish with Sonderon, is to show that you don't need a human to be your storyteller. The storyteller can be someone, with purple skin from a different solar system.
I'm here for it. Cameron says, right on. No one ever says anything about the Predator world place he's been. Predator cameo on Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, that'd be great. I don't really like the Alien versus Predator movies that much, but that ending to AVP2 where they get the Predator suit, that was so dope. And it would have been great to flip the focus. Like, now we're going after them, but the Predators are the main characters that have to deal with this killer suit that we have now.
Mm-hmm. Also, like he said, he was talking about Transformers. Transformers were very highly successful with that. Also, to TMNT, they're not human; they're just turtles, and everybody loves them. They just blasted up out of nowhere with fame and whatnot, and I think, and that's one of the core things that I think that people are not seeing. Is it's just the fact that they're turtles. The Transformers are like sentient robots and such, and I think we're kind of like getting tired of the same old superheroes and following, because we've seen it 1,000 times. Let's change it up a little bit.
Yeah. One thing I will say about another thing about Sonderon that I think is good about his personality is that we're trying to make him that he's not like a Superman or any of these other heroes that you read in a book that has all the answers. He's someone who definitely is making it up as he goes along. Somewhat like an Indiana Jones type or something. But at the same point, he didn't ask for this responsibility, this quest that he's been tasked with. So that's one thing we also want to show, is that it's almost like, how many times have we all been put in a situation where it's like we didn't ask for this, but we got to deal with it. And that's something that we wanted to show with Sonderon, that basically, he's been tasked with this, big quest. He had no desire to do this, but now he's the caretaker of this. So that's another thing that I think that we enjoy about the character, is because he's kind of just like the everyman, basically.
That's awesome. Ryan says, this sounds great. Brad says, Ren says, what's up? Mikey's on my other screen. Tell Ren I said, what's up, Bradley? That's awesome that you're dual wielding streaming shows. I appreciate the support as always.
Dude, you're killing it on this drawing. If you want, if you send me the file, I'll go ahead and throw it on Kickstarter.
Oh no, I will. Oh, I'm sorry. You get this file. I thought you knew that. You get this, and you do whatever you want with it.
Yeah. Dude, he's coming out really cool, man.
Oh, thank you.
I really like all the questions and stuff, like everything that's like, dude, man, you're killing it. Like, I'm having a fun time, man.
That is the heart and soul of this show, man. I miss having convention conversations so very badly, and with this show, I get to have that stuff. We get to geek out, we get to talk, we get to, talk about our crafts, what makes us, and all that stuff. And I really enjoy hearing about the character and its roots and where you guys came from when you're designing it. It plays a lot with how I illustrate the character.
Mm-hmm.
So this exile from him, it at first it was sounding like it was imposed on him, but almost sounds like he volunteered for it.
Right, man, you got that one.
Well, I mean, it's the kind of thing. I don't. He wasn't really volunteered for it. You know, he kind of just like again, he fell into it. Like he always had this sort of, you know, yearning to see what was beyond his little tribal wall and stuff. And you know, the origin story has him sort of running across this sort of, because the way that the society is built is that, you know, if you go back millennia to the planet of Kometa, it was split into 4 quadrants, and basically there's 4 different sort of you know, species of Kometans. You know, there's the hunter-gatherers, there's the desert nomads, there's the scientific, sort of like the super technological people, and then there's the chimeras. So Sondron sort of, he has a run-in with one of the tech-savvy guys on one of the quadrants, and he sort of kind of gets the skinny on what the tech-savvy people of that quadrant want to do in regards to the rest of the planet, what their plans are, which is basically a form of genocide, basically. So
Okay.
with that in mind, you know, that, you know, sort of scientific Kometan, he basically tells Sondron this is what can stop them, and he basically, you know, tells him what he needs to do and sends him on his way.
I love it. So he steps up, something that he was not supposed to do,
Or
but it falls to
prepared.
his lap, and he still goes out and handles it. It's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Also, like I think the another thing that I love about him too is that the tribal markings that's on his body and face. I was giving it some thought, but then I wrote it in afterwards that the markings, he was just a misfit in his tribe specifically, and the tribal markings on his face and his body are the ones of dishonor, and you know,
Oh,
yeah, like they. So it's kind of like a thing where if you act up and whatnot, you don't follow the ways, they kick you out of the tribe, instead of you just trying to join the other tribes locally or trying, you know, whatnot. Like you get tatted these markings, and it's not a good sign.
so
On
is
his
this? I don't want to. If I'm venturing towards spoiler area, let me know. So is this more of a mission of redemption for him?
No, it's honestly, I still have yet to figure that out because me and Brett are still, you know, we're still trying to figure that out. Like, you know, the character has so much still to write about, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and we've covered a lot of ground. So maybe that's something that he feels when he gets older. It definitely isn't something that he feels at the moment, currently,
Okay.
right now. But maybe that'll change. I also love his companions too. Trying to figure out like what are like some good companions or rivals to create for him, and how good can they be?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a little bit of a challenge because you know you focus all your focus on this main character, and that's all you take all that time. But you also got to invest your time in creating the other characters and making them just as good.
Right. Uh-huh. There's the dilemma.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I started realizing that too, and I'm trying to, you know, make sure my villains are on par with the superhero. So he does give him that business, like he or she, whatever that villain is, makes that character grow, and like, and I realized that, and like for a couple other villains, I've reached out to other people to help me shape them, just so that villain doesn't get shortchanged, because I know how important they are to my coming story arc. So I want them to be as developed as the main character.
What? Oh man. So I hate to do this, but I have to hop on to another show that's like at 8 o'clock. So I'm gonna have Brett stay behind and you know give you company and whatnot, man. I apologize.
Oh man, you're fine. I
Yeah,
am.
the podcast guy, the other guy who's doing one with me, he's apparently he scheduled it like an hour right after your time frame, and I feel really bad because I'm having loads of fun, and I really want to come back on your show sometime in the future. Um, so I thank you like for having me jump on and just talking about this character. I feel really humbled. The appreciation and the love that everybody else is giving him in the chats, and just feeling it from you, man. It really means a lot. I don't hear it often when it comes to this character, so it really means a lot to me.
Oh, no problem at all, man. And I completely understand. You're hustling. You're trying to make this Kickstarter happen, man. That's what you got a team for. It's what you and your guy are together for. So
Yeah.
we'll make it work. I'm almost done with it anyway. So
All right, Brett. I'll catch you later. Thank you
All right.
so much. Most epic art. Thank you so much, man.
no problem.
all
Thank
right,
you
guys.
for giving us a try.
All right, guys. You have a wonderful night.
All right, man. He's gone. Give me the skinny. Tell me all the dirt.
Man, no dirt there, Pretty, like you said, pretty tame, like we said, we're just working on this thing, trying to get it off the ground,
Mm-hmm.
It's one
So,
of those things.
so what's your origin story, man? How did you know that comics were the thing for you?
Oh man, I mean, geez. Well, I mean, that's a, growing up, always catching the Sun or Saturday morning cartoons, the Amazing Spider-Man show and, Super Friends and all those other ones. And I guess maybe, I kind of messed with comics when I was super young, obviously. My dad would bring me home issues here and there and stuff like that. But I guess I really didn't really realized the art form of it until I was in my, maybe middle school years when X-Men 1 came out in the 90s. And then that just kind of, opened a lot of doors as far as looking at it as just not like, just stories about good guys and bad guys. So, from there, you start picking up on a lot of things, whether it be, art wise, storytelling wise, things to that extent, and also I'm a big film guy too. So,
Okay.
I love all those, superhero movies and, even not even just that, any kind of sci-fi or adventure movie and stuff. So, that always, I think, kind of also helps out with the storytelling, I think,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, grew up in the 80s, 90s. So, I always call that like the last great era of filmmaking, to be completely honest with you. Because I mean, today everything is just another reboot or rehash or something like that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, why remake RoboCop when you got a perfectly awesome one that Verhoeven did, and then they make that crappy one that came out a few years ago. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, for sure.
Just got a ding. I don't know what that ding was for.
I think that might have been me, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was checking. I was like, did somebody else come in? Yeah, man, that makes a lot of sense, man. The '80s were a very magical time, and if you've noticed, or I don't know if anybody else has noticed, but there's a lot of movies and TV shows talking about like the '90s,
right,
and the '80s, and it's like, that's cool, like super relatable, right? But it's because it's people our age that are now working, making this content.
Yeah. I mean, like, what was it? My buddy and I, we're big Karate Kids fans. We always talk about, that growing up and stuff. And I binged Cobra Kai, a couple weeks ago and stuff. And I just realized, like, again, it's one of those things where, who would have guessed in a million years that, people would be all excited for the Karate Kid again, whereas like, years ago, they wouldn't even touch that movie. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I think like you said, a lot of people, our age and stuff, they're, they're and the thing is that it's the kind of thing is, how many times have you sat around with your friends and talked about, oh, remember this movie, well, wouldn't it have been cool if there was this happen or such and such. Or so now that, like you said, that these people are making the moves over there in the corporate industry, now we're seeing sort of all these fan theories and just things coming to fruition.
Yeah. And by the way, I absolutely love Cobra Kai. I think it's freaking amazing.
Yeah, man. I mean, I really was skeptical when I first heard about it, but like I said, my buddy said, no, you have to check it out, and I was really surprised. I literally was very pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, and we were saying how it was like the right amount of cheese, man.
Mhm.
Like they have it balanced. It's the one show that I really enjoy, and that because I complain about a lot of stuff when I'm watching it. Although I'm a fan of like all of it, but
Yeah.
the one thing that always made me that I always said with Cobra Kai is they always everybody was right from their perspective.
Right.
From
Yeah.
everything that they saw, from everything that they experienced, they were absolutely right. Every
Right.
single person.
Right. And that was the crazy thing, is that when the first season came out, I remember talking to my friend. I said, well, who's the good guy and the bad guy? Because the way they make it seem is that Daniel's the villain and Johnny's the good guy,
Yeah.
and it, like you said, it the whole show is about perspective, basically. And I always find that, I guess, spoilers, just maybe I better not say anything.
No,
for
you're good,
season
man. It's
2.
been out long enough.
Well, all right.
Spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers. Well, basically, when Allie comes and she has the meeting with Daniel and Johnny there, she's basically the viewer, basically saying that, it's like, well, you're right about this, but you're wrong about that, kind of thing. So it's like,
Yeah.
so it's like Allie's our perspective as to, Daniel was a dick here and Johnny was a bigger dick over there. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I think that's the cool thing about the show, is that, and it's funny because, growing up, you always think Daniel's the hero and stuff. But I remember, I think it was a couple years ago, even before Cobra Kai, someone did a video where they retold the Karate Kid that Johnny was the hero. And I remember sending that to my friend. And I said, get ready to have your whole reality shaken. And it was one of those things where I was like, it makes so much sense that Johnny was really the hero and Daniel was the villain in the show. So yeah, that the show definitely does a really good job. I mean, I think we can all agree that Sensei Kreese is the main villain.
Oh,
But,
yeah.
like you said, Daniel and Johnny both have their moments when they're both being a dick.
Yeah, man. And I don't know how they balance it, man, but I'm absolutely fine with it. Like I hate CW shows for that same reason.
Oh yeah,
Because it's like they don't cover their bases like how Cobra Kai did, and like you literally sit there and like, oh, that's gonna be a bad situation, and I could see, you sit there the whole time just like I just want Johnny and Danny to get together.
yeah.
I just want them to be teachers together. Don't they see that the only way to fix this situation is for them to team up? Don't they see this?
Right. For
And like,
sure.
dude, and the payoff was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. I might watch that shit again tonight, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, here we go. Right. This is one crazy sword your boy has right here. What's the story with this blade of his?
That one, I don't really the design for the blade, I'm not too sure, to tell you the truth. Like I said, a lot of the stuff Zach kind of designed before I came onto the project and stuff. So haven't really, haven't figured out a backstory to that or anything like that. But I guess we'll have to flesh that out,
Yeah, it just looks cool, man. It looks absolutely different though from anything I've seen.
Yeah, for sure, So it's definitely very, very cool, very sci-fi-esque,
Yeah, so I think it's unique and that's dope.
Mm-hmm.
In a world where we've seen like every damn sword that there could be,
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a fun guy to draw right here. So how long have you been into the comic world, my friend?
Geez, I mean, I guess ever since I've been a kid, I mean, like as far as reading goes, or just kind of in general.
Well, working, creating.
Oh, creating. Oh man, I guess like you said, I mean, seriously, it's been these last 3 years basically working, going to the Kubert school and everything like that. I mean, before, like I said, how life gets in the way with work and everything like that. You kind of, you know, doodle here and there, and maybe you may talk to your friends about this kind of story or something like that, but I haven't really taken it serious, like I said, until these last few years, actually kind of really hammering it in and stuff. And I was hoping to go to some conventions, but unfortunately, with this pandemic that we're dealing with, that basically put the kibosh on that.
Yeah.
So, so now it's just kind of like, just, doing telechats and just kind of honing the craft basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You said that's kind of been it's been a hit for you too, huh? Like not being able to go to the cons.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's really hurt my feelings not being able to do comic book conventions.
Yeah.
This is it's honestly how I started doing this show. I needed a
Mhm.
way to still be able to make myself relevant,
Mhm.
be able to talk to my audience, and still, stay on people's minds and promote my books.
Yeah.
And this has been the whole way that I've been doing that thing
Yeah.
and um, helping other creators at the same time, promote their
Yeah.
stuff too.
Yeah. Well, like you said, you kind of have to just adapt to it and stuff. And I think this is definitely a good thing. It definitely gets a wider audience too.
Hmm.
You know. So
And so, we do the things we can to survive.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Especially these days.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely.
Yeah, man, for sure.
Let me see here. I think, yeah, we're going to put that one in the front too. Get a little bit of this tentacle action here. I want to put this behind him. Where's my? Oh, there we go. Oh, there we go. So, are you working on any other projects besides this?
Not right now, to tell you the truth. Like now, we're just kind of focusing on the Kickstarter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I guess we'll have to see what happens. Hopefully, we can get this funded in the next few days, and then we can kind of, start working on the next installment of Voyage. I know that, like Zach had mentioned, there's the second anthology that
Mm-hmm.
is being planned. And like I said, we got a whole bunch of other Hubert students working on that. So that might be the next thing I think that everyone's going to start focusing on.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
I love that you guys go back to your place of origin and bring people on board. I think that's really dope.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's really important. I mean, I think that I think also it's a really telling thing in the sense that, like, uh, this is all like orchestrated and put together by students. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like basically, like the school didn't really have anything to do with it. Like we kind of did it all, kind of on our own. And like I said, Zach did that all by himself the first time around. So I think, like you said, when you put it like that, it's really everyone putting everything together.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna have to glue the smiles. I'll have to look at that later.
You have 18 weapons.
All right. Yeah, man. So I think we are done right here. Gonna hit that replay.
Yeah.
time lapse of how we got to here with this thing. It's a fun little project.
Yeah,
So
it came out
everybody,
beautiful.
thank you very much. Everybody, go ahead and pledge. Check this Kickstarter out. We got a couple pledges tonight, which were great. Here's the link to the Kickstarter. If money's tight, which I perfectly understand, that's great. I understand. Well, no, it's not tight. Great if money's tight, but you still have the option to share it. Sharing is just as important as donating. And even if you can give $1, that would be appreciated, because $1 works, man. I did a $1-thon for Freestyle Comics with the editor-in-chief of FSK, and we raised over $800 in one day. So dollars build up, and it'd be great if you guys can help them make this story come to life, and so we can get this out here. This is a great character. I love everything about it. It's super fun. It's called Voyage, The Call. So again, pledge, share, or do both, or at least give us a share, because you guys are helping us get this out here. We're the little people. We don't have that Marvel Disney money. We just got our basement studios, and we're out here hustling. Thank you, Katie. This was a fun one. I like this character, man. It's almost like Conan the Barbarian style type of stuff, but in space.
Yeah. There's definitely a lot of good, lot of everything in there for everyone. I think, like I said, if you in this book, especially, like you said, if you like horror, you're gonna love it. If you like, space adventure, you're gonna like it. It's got a pretty much, a good amount of everything for anyone who likes just a good old, fashion adventure story.
I forgot to add his built, but it's on there now. Yeah, so I will send this off, and this is y'all. Y'all can do whatever you guys want with it. Add to the Kickstarter, get it colored up or whatnot.
Yeah, I'm sure they will, for sure. That's beautiful.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank you for coming on the show, man, and let everybody know where they can catch you at, where they can find you.
Well, I guess we got the Kickstarter link in there. Voyage, The Call. All of our links are down there for Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. That's pretty much where you can find all your information at the Kickstarter.
Awesome. All right, everybody. You can find me as Most Epic Art on all social media platforms. That is Instagram, that is TikTok, that is Twitch, that is Patreon, that is Facebook, that is YouTube, that is Twitter. All of them, Most Epic Art. I've also got a Kickstarter of my own going. Thank you, Cameron. I also got a Kickstarter of my own going, and we are trying to make things happen. This week, let me take this down. We're actually, I'm playing around with some stuff, guys. All right, I'm playing around with some stuff. We're doing special guest advocate deals. Travis Gibb, who currently holds the record for the most appearances on Chat and Joe ever. He has 8. He is saying that you guys should pledge to my Kickstarter. All right, for the next 2 days, if you pledge starting today, you will get Broke Down and 4 Dead Bodies #1 digitally for free for pledging to my Kickstarter. So Travis also says Chat and Draw brings creators together and showcases talent in a way that really impacts a comic's growth. Man, that guy is good with words. I think he writes comics. So we're doing the Travis Gibbs special for the next couple days. That's his book that you will get for free if you donate to my Kickstarter today and tomorrow for the next 2 days. All right. All right, guys. I'm about to get out of here. I'm going to take a small break before I have to start the next cast, which is Agents of the Nerdy, coming up here at about 9 p.m. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, and come on back. Join us for Agents of the Nerdy. We're going to be talking WandaVision. We're going to be talking Bridgerton. We're going to be talking Jean-Luc Picard's show. And whoever hates that show, you're entitled to your opinion. It's wrong, though. All right, everybody. Stay epic, and we'll see you.